Okay, so welcome to part 2 of my OCD ramblings that were just way too long to put into one 40-minute video. So congratulations, I split it up. You had to wait for the other half of the story, but I am here today and I'm filming all this after I've talked through it all outside in the outdoors. I know, like, come on, Maile, you are just growing so much as a person. Good job. But my voice is getting kind of hoarse because I've just been talking at this camera for a long time. So I'm gonna make this intro short. Let's hop into the rest of my story wherever I randomly decided to cut it because of time. So here you go, jump right back in. So now that I've kind of transitioned from my diagnosis story to explaining how OCD affects me, I think I might just kind of explain base level what OCD is. And like I said, this is what OCD is for me. And there are parts of it that some people with OCD don't experience, and I don't experience some things that people with OCD do. I would consider my OCD to be mild. Pretty much 95% of the time I can cope. I can recognize at least when I'm not coping and do something about it. My medicine keeps me pretty well regulated, and I just have to kind of watch for warning signs of when I am reverting to routines that make no sense. Everything has to be in 5s. Eric just automatically knows, my whole family knows, volumes always have to be in increments of 5. I don't even have to ask, that's just how my brain works. I should probably work on that, but I don't. They just placate me, so thanks, fam. Or no thanks, I don't know. But let's talk a little bit about what OCD is. So OCD stands for obsessive compulsive disorder. I think we all know that. And basically, I like to think of it as a stress disorder. So when you get stressed out in life, or you get to a point where you feel like you can't cope, or you're feeling overwhelmed is like the biggest source of like annoyance in my life. I get overwhelmed constantly. It feels like I have to fight against overwhelming feelings all the time. You tend to obsess about worst case scenarios and think compulsively about it. So very commonly, the way that I can, when I have obsessive thoughts because I'm stressed out and I just in my brain compulsively just think about them over and over and over again, a really common thing about people with OCD is we have to have reassurance, outside reassurance, because I can recognize that my brain is not right. And in order to not obsess about something, I need to ask a loved, trusted person if it's gonna be okay. For example, if I'm laying in bed at night, this happens to me a lot. If I'm laying in bed at night and I think, oh gosh, did we shut the garage door? And my brain can go, yes, I remember touching the button. I remember watching it go down. That does not matter. I can recognize that in my brain and still obsess over it. Because I immediately go to those ruminating thoughts, those worst case scenario thoughts of, we didn't shut it. If I'm misremembering, then a burglar's gonna get in, he's gonna come inside, he's gonna have a gun, he's gonna murder Eric in front of me and kill my dogs, and I'm gonna be left alone with no like stuff because he's gonna rob me too. And that's just like where my brain goes as I'm trying to fall asleep. And so I could either get up 5 times and check if the freaking garage door is shut, or I could ask a trusted person to reassure me that yes, we shut the door. So I'll say to Eric, did we shut the garage door? And he'll say, yep, we totally shut it. I remember it 100%. And that's enough to calm me down most of the time and be like, okay, great. If Eric goes, I don't know, I will freak out and I'll be like, okay, well, I got to go get up 5 times to check it and make sure it's shut. And then I'm going to be able to sleep. Or it's like with COVID, for example, I thought I've had COVID like 5 times. And, you know, I have to seek reassurance from people that I think it's just my sinuses, right? Like, you think it's just my sinuses. You don't think this is COVID, right? You don't think I have it. You know, when I'm talking to my mom on the phone, or I'm talking to Eric or anybody, it's just like constantly having to seek that reassurance from people so that I can stop obsessing over tiny little things that sometimes make no sense. And it's so funny, the rational versus irrational parts of my brain. It doesn't matter that I can understand from an analytical point of view, like this thought that I'm having is not rational. That should be enough to a normal person, if normal even exists, to go, oh yeah, you're right, calm down. This is not a rational thought. There's 5 million reasons why this would never happen. Just don't think about it anymore. Boy, do I wish I could do that. But I can't because my brain is messed up, and that's okay. For example, one of my greatest fears in life is Voldemort popping out of my toilet when I flush it. I wish I was joking, but I'm not. I've been a huge Harry Potter fan from a very young age, and reading Harry Potter was borderline terrifying for me. I do not do scary things. I literally don't watch Halloween scary movies. I don't watch thrillers. I don't watch anything remotely scary. I can't even watch Stranger Things because I think it's too scary, okay? I'm a big fat weenie, and Harry Potter was pretty much pushing it hardcore for me. Terrified me, especially watching the movies terrified me, but I just loved it so much that I pushed through. Voldemort, just like saying his name scares me. And I can laugh at myself because I know it's not a rational thought whatsoever. That doesn't mean that every time I flush the toilet, I'm not gonna like run out of there at night when it's dark because I think Voldemort's gonna come out of the toilet when I flush it. Don't ask me where that fear came from, but it's real and it's alive, okay? So it's just stuff like that. Like, I can recognize 100% that that is totally irrational, but my brain just can't compute to stop myself from obsessing over it and just thinking compulsively about it. I don't know. I don't know if any of this is even making sense. I feel like I'm leaving out so much. Here's another good example of my OCD. When I go to bed at night, I have to pee right before I get in bed. And if I lay there and don't immediately go to sleep, I have to get up and pee again. I have to feel like I've just peed and my bladder is totally empty so that I can go to sleep. And if I'm laying there for more than like 3-4 minutes before I fall asleep, I have to get up and go to the bathroom again. If I get up to like turn my thermostat down, I then have to go back to the bathroom and get in bed. You can see how this would create a problem, especially when I've peed like 5 times in the span of 5 minutes sometimes, and there's just nothing left in there, you know? But that's just how my brain works, and I have to do it or else I won't be able to go to sleep. And for me, I think one of my biggest struggles just on a daily basis, besides just general anxiety, and like I said, kind of ruminating worst case scenario thoughts of death and despair and horribleness, worst case scenarios. I think that the number one way, besides that just kind of general day-to-day life that OCD affects me, is freaking in bed. When it's time to go to sleep, my brain will not shut off. And it's not in like a way when you've had a super overwhelming day or you're in a really busy season of life that you're just laying there thinking about like, oh, these are all the things I have to do. Like, I am so stressed and so worried about this or whatever. Like, no, it has nothing to do with real life scenarios. Sometimes it does when I'm like really overwhelmed, but not real life scenarios. For example, like tomorrow at work, I have so much to get done. Like, that's not it. It's tomorrow at work, if I don't get everything I need to get done, my boss will probably call me in and fire me because I'm a horrible employee. God, what will I do when I get fired? Like, we won't be able to pay our rent. Like, I'll have to go move in with my parents. Like, they're gonna have to take care of me. Like, we'll probably lose everything. This is horrible. I'll never find another job. Like, this is where my brain goes, to the worst case scenario possible. And I just lay there, think about that all night. And because I have those ruminating thoughts, the compulsiveness to get some sort of tiny bit of control over those thoughts and the anxiety that those thoughts give me, I have to do weird things like cross my foot in front of my other leg every time I walk into my bathroom, or pee every 5 seconds because I'm not falling asleep quick enough, or make sure that the garage door is closed 5 times, or ask Eric to reassure me that it is. To go through a laundry list with Eric sometimes of, did you lock the front door? Yes. Did you lock the back door? Yes. Did you shut the garage? Yes. Is the oven off? Yes. Is the stovetop off? Yes. Is, you know, whatever else off? The fireplace, did you turn that off? Are the dog's crates closed? Like, it's just so, I'm talking about it now and you can probably tell that I'm starting to talk faster and I'm starting to get out of breath. It's because it's hard. Like, it's hard to talk about because, and I don't know if this is a Maile thing or if this is an OCD thing or if this is just a normal human thing. I think it's a Maile thing, honestly, because I've always been a very decisive and aware person, like very self-aware. I can tell you all my faults. I can tell you everything that's wrong with me. I can tell you all the annoying things I do. Before you even realize it about me, I can tell you what it is. And it's a safeguard, but it also makes me hyper aware of what OCD does to me. And it's just annoying because sometimes I can't cope. Like, typically I'm like, oh, I see that and this is what I need to do to fix it, and I fix it. And it doesn't affect my life in a crazy way. Or it's a scenario of, I see this, I see I'm doing it. Let's just, we're not gonna think about it. We're gonna keep doing it, but we're just gonna like write it in as part of our normal life and move on. Not give it that much thought. Even though I'm constantly thinking about it, like that's where the numbers thing comes in. Everything still has to be in increments of 5. I honestly think there's probably a way to fix it if I tried hard enough, but I think that's just part of my normal life now. Oh my gosh. By the way, isn't my sweater so cute? It's from Target. You should go watch my most recent Target clothing haul, autumn. I'll link it down below. Side note, tangent. It's just annoying because, and I touched on this a little bit in my mental health video, but I wish I was better than it. And I wish that there's a lot of airplanes today. I wish I just could make it go away on my own, but I can't. All I can do is be really self-aware and help myself manage as much as possible. Take my medicine on a regular basis every single day. I feel like I've given you kind of an overview about what OCD is through my experience with OCD. I've talked about kind of childhood and my diagnosis, and I've talked a little bit about the misconceptions, but I want to talk about them a little bit more to close. It's so funny that people think that OCD is just about cleanliness and tidiness. Number one, I don't have the washing hands problem. Don't have it. Don't need to wash my hands multiple times. In fact, that would stress me out more because I hate the feeling of clammy or of dry hands. I am very tidy and very clean. Everything has to be in its place. That is very true. But the biggest distinction is because that's how I get control. And it is very true that when I feel out of control and I feel super stressed out, that sometimes the thought of having to tidy a space is too overwhelming. I can't think about it. And this hasn't happened to me in a really long time. In fact, this hasn't happened to me since before we moved originally a year ago. Wow, that's really great. I'm proud of myself for that. I'm just kind of not realizing. But sometimes I would get so overwhelmed and get to a point where my house would be a disaster and I wouldn't be able to clean it. I wouldn't be able to pick up one thing because it just overwhelmed me too much, which is a reason why I typically don't let my house get to that state. I usually am pretty obsessive about cleaning, and not cleaning, just tidying and picking up. But for me, the idea of having to constantly keep up with cleaning my house, and cleaning meaning not picking it up and making it tidy, but using cleaning products to get all the dust out and all the surfaces sanitized and, you know, vacuumed and dusted and mopped and all that. That overwhelms me so bad because I feel like if I am in charge of it, then it has to be absolutely perfect or else I can't cope and I have to go back and finish it and do it over again. And it just takes up so much of my time that for my mental health, a couple of years ago, Eric and I made the actual intentional choice to hire a cleaning person. And we've had a couple of different cleaning people throughout our home experiences. And my cleaning lady right now is freaking amazing and I love her so much, but she's moving in 6 months and I'm gonna need to find a new cleaning lady. If you have a cleaning lady recommendation, or man, not discriminating on this channel, let me know down below. It's just, I say cleaning lady because my lady, or my, my cleaning person is a lady currently. But letting go of control of having to always have my house super clean and letting it be someone else's job to take care of that I pay for has been revolutionary, extremely revolutionary. And it's something like Eric is like, even if like you got fired or I got fired and we had to like totally scrimp and save every penny and like cut back super crazy on expenses, like we can't get rid of a cleaning lady because you need that. So yeah, it's funny that people think OCD is just about being super clean and super tidy because that's a huge misconception. And sometimes people with OCD are way too overwhelmed to think about tidying or cleaning something. And it just goes so far beyond what the kind of generic and stereotypical version of OCD is. OCD is different for everybody, and there's not one right way to have OCD. How 2020 of me. Anyway, all this to say, OCD is something that I live with. It's something that is part of me. It's something that's probably never gonna go away. A therapist would probably cringe if they heard me say that, because they're like, no, it can go away. But like, it's something that I've just embraced about my life. It honestly explains a lot about who I am as a person and who I've always been from a very early age. I probably use it as a crutch too much and use it to explain away some things I don't like about myself too much. But honestly, and I know this is really weird to say, proud is the wrong word, because I would love to not have OCD and just feel normal, even though normal doesn't exist, let's be real. But I'm proud of myself, not because I have OCD, but because of how aware I am of it, how open I am about it. Like, I just tell any random person on the street, like, to explain something weird I'm doing, I'm like, sorry, I have OCD. Actually medicated, diagnosed OCD, like legit OCD. But it's probably so annoying. I probably mention it like 25,000 times a day about myself and on my channel. I'm sure you've noticed. But I do it because I just want to be open. I want to be true to like who I am. It's just a part of me. It's a part of who I am. And it's so much easier to just talk about it and be open and be real about it than try to hide it or make it look better than it is. I do have to fight against that instinct, which is part of my personality alone, and also part of my OCD, is to make sure that I'm not vulnerable and to make sure that I'm presenting the best version of myself. But that's one thing, I know I've touched on it before, but that's one thing I've really loved about this channel, is that it's opened me up and it's helped challenge me to share my real life, unedited, unfiltered, and just be me. And it's a really scary thing to do, but it's been really cool to see all the people that I've not gotten one negative response from anyone in my real life that I know. Now, I'm sure there's lots of people that see me post my videos on Instagram or Facebook twice a week and are just like, oh my God, another one. Can't she just like get over herself? Like, she's not that cool. I don't think I'm cool at all. First of all, I think I'm a freaking psycho weird girl. But the support that I've gotten from especially the people in my real life that know me personally has just been like crazy. People have been so nice. And beyond nice, like not even nice, like they've been so kind and they've been so like complimentary, and it's just been such a connector to people. And I never really thought that that's what it would do. And I've loved it so much, even if my channel never grows beyond what it's currently at and I never get, you know, more than 30 views per video ever, like that's totally fine, because it's had such a huge impact on my life. And honestly, it's been a great exercise in pushing myself and putting myself out there, being more real, being more true to me, and kind of breaking down those walls that I tend to put up constantly. And yeah, I've just really loved it. It's been such a great experience, and it's been such a great experience. You guys are awesome. Thank you so much for subscribing. Make sure to subscribe if you haven't already. And I think that is it for part 2. Thank you so much for being here. You guys are awesome. Let me know down below if you have OCD, if you have any other mental health struggle you want to share. I'd love to kind of make some connections and learn about other people's experiences. I think it's really fascinating. And it's a good way for us to all encourage each other. So I think that's all. I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.